Hello, you know that 2020 at the end of my videos, I used to apologize to everybody that was watching because I was basically the only one wearing a mask on LinkedIn. Starting January the 20th, I'm not only going to wear a mask, I'm going to encourage everybody to wear a mask and protect yourself. Also protect your loved ones from suffering a horrible asphyxiating death from COVID-19. Please, let's unite all of us and follow the President's challenge, 100 days mask challenge. Thank you. You know, I found out after a 1-year anniversary on LinkedIn that CEOs have a lot to learn. Actually, CEOs have more to learn than most of the population out there. You know, I learned that being unemployed is harder than being at work. Actually, people that are unemployed are working harder than you and me to find a job. Finding a job is the hardest work you can do, except you don't get paid. I learned that the digital world used to accommodate to serve us. Now, we have to accommodate to serve the digital world. I have learned that there's a gap between the old generation and the new generation, but guess what? Divided, we will get nowhere. United, we will get everywhere. So let's unite, people. The old generation has experience that is valued a lot. The young generation has a fresh mind and intelligence that is also of great use for this country. I have learned pain and suffering like I've never seen before. 2020 was a painful year for most everybody in this country. I have learned a lot from all those people. I have learned to communicate digitally and do this and share my opinions and my feelings and share what I think should be done and what I think is being done wrong. I have learned a lot of things in the digital world, which is very different from the world we knew. I have learned new values like patience, tolerance, and resilience, which many people mention, because you have to have them. I have learned to appreciate the people around me that I had no time to see before. Now I see them a lot, and I thank God for that. I have learned everything about the algorithm. I have learned how it's come into our lives, how it's transformed our lives, how we now mix the digital with the reality to be able to achieve objectives and goals every year. I have learned that more than ever, we now need to unite as a team. We need each other. We need each other to survive. We need each other to prosper. We need each other to go ahead and keep going in life and prosper again and again and again. We have to unite. We will not do anything by ourselves. Times have changed. I have learned that there's people out there with different opinions than us, and we should give them space. We should let them speak and listen to them. We should not be judgmental. We should just listen to them. Their complaints, their happiness, or their success or failure. We should be good listeners. That's the best thing I have learned. I have learned of sickness, death, and devastation in this country like I've never seen it before. God bless us all. God protects us all. I have learned that there's no more political or geographical borders. I have learned that we will take any vaccine from any country made anywhere because we need to protect ourselves and protect others. I have seen unity and globalization like never before. I have seen people open their minds to other cultures, races, colors, and religions like never before. This is a time God intended for us to all be together, open-minded, for the good of the world and for the safety of all of us. I have learned that each and every one of us is a piece of a puzzle. It's a great, huge puzzle, and each and every one has an assigned duty that we have self-assigned to ourselves to do in this society. I have learned that every piece of this puzzle is as important as the other one. Nobody is more important than anybody else. Nobody's worth more than anybody else. We're all together a big, huge puzzle. I have learned after so many travels and so many international experiences that the United States has a government like no other in the world. That this government was formed to support the people. And really, it is we the people. I've seen this country thrive and I've seen this country in turmoil, but never like today. Never like 2020 and 2021. I think we supersede whatever expectations we had this country to become 200 plus years ago. I have learned to listen to others, and I have learned to understand when they complain, where does it come from? Their hurt, their pain, their sickness. I have never heard that before. I hear it now, and I'm compassionate about other human beings, which I was not compassionate before. I have heard the pain of the people and the suffering of the people. And that was terrible. I have learned, and maybe this is the most important one of all, I have learned to change. I have learned to adapt. I have learned to understand. I have learned to recalculate. I have learned to do things by myself that I've never done before. I have learned to be inside a home for months and months and months. I have learned to put up with things I never put up before. In every bad situation, in every terrible situation, there's a lot of good to learn from. There's a lot of things that will benefit your life. So make sure you don't oversee them. Make sure you don't oversee the good things 2021 brought. And again, I say, I have learned a lot. I've learned how unprepared we were, and I have learned how we've overseen so many things that would have been good and great at this precise moment. I have learned to plan, I have learned to save, and I have learned to protect myself and care about others like never before in my life. Finally, I have learned that we're not in control. We think we can control everything. We think we have a grasp on our future, but we don't. There's so many things out there that can hurt us. There are so many things that's out there that can turn our world around. I have learned beyond being fragile, we're unprepared. So let's take this lesson and learn. Good evening. CEOs, we have a lot more to learn than everybody else. Finally, I thank all those who have been patient enough and taught me and helped me understand all through this transformation of our lives. I thank people out there like I've never thanked them before. I understand now that we are a world all together. I understand now that there's a lot of people out there of value that can come into your personal life, not talking about business, but personal life, and really change it. I give thanks to God because He's always been with me, and He's the one who's permitted that I advance in times when so many people are not advancing. In fact, they're going backwards. Thank you, God, for everything you've done.